Welcome back, guys. Time for another speed duel deck today, and we couldn't hype up Battle City if we didn't do the duelist who made me actually like this game the first time I saw this on the show, Mako Tsunami. Now, there was just something about the freaky fish guy that got me interested, something about that episode. I don't know, it was the first one I saw. And one of my best friends would go on to play this guy, and what I'm going to do is I'm building the first one to the Legendary Fisherman, and I'll build the second version the way that my friend used to play. So, without any further ado, let's get you guys a little deck profile for the speed duel. So first off, we're going to use a Mako skill. We're going to be using Catch of the Day. Pretty cool. We're going to use some beatdown characters. We're going to have 3 Great Whites and 3 High Tide Gyojins. We're just using stats here. We got Marriott Kutai, single copy. And for consistency, 3 Legendary Fishermans. Now real quick off to the spells. We're going to run 2 copies Moray of Greed, 2 copies Field Spell Umi, 2 copies Continuous Spell Water Hazard. And our traps, again, I'm in love with the Adhesion Trap Hole right now for speed duels. It seems to be one of the best, most consistent traps, especially since the attack values don't get terribly high on a lot of the start cards for any of your plays, so it's great. And 2 copies Kunai with Chain. And, of course, the obligatory mind game. Pick you up some fusions, put them in a stack, make your opponent think Waking the Dragon is somewhere. If you guys just wanted the video for the deck list, you guys are good to go. Class is dismissed. If you guys are enjoying this, maybe think about subbing. Either way, let's talk about what this deck really does now. So again, this is just a mind game. Sorry for knocking that out of focus. But this you don't need that. That's for your opponent to think things. So Catch of the Day is one of the 4 skills Mako Tsunami got, and in my opinion, one of the better 2. So if you control Legendary Fisherman, you can activate Umi directly from your deck or your discard pile, and that portion of this skill card is a once per duel use. Now, my favorite part of this is once per turn when the Legendary Fisherman that you control destroys a monster by battle or inflicts battle damage to the opponent, you're allowed to special summon a level 4 or lower water attribute monster card from either your deck or your graveyard in defense position. Remember that. We're going to be using that here throughout this build. So, real quick, everything revolves around the field spell Umi for the most part. So remember that Fish, Sea Serpents, Thunders, and Aquas are going to gain 200, while Machine and Pyro is going to lose 200. So that considered, Great White should be a 4-star 1800 for this. Again, we're using 3 of him for beatdown skill. We're going to be using the 3 copies of the High Tide Gyojin again for stats, or nice raw 1850. Should help us overpower a lot of cards. Maria Kutai is the card we're actually going to juggle with Catch of the Day today. So because I only need 1, because I can keep bringing it back from the discard pile, Maria Kutai's effect is very control-oriented. So during the opponent's turn, when my opponent activates a spell card as a quick effect, I contribute this card, negate the activation, and destroy the card. And when you're talking about a 4-card opening hand and a 20-card deck, negating a singular spell card is possibly the difference between victory and loss. And to be able to pull this card out of your deck for no reason outside of your skill card says so, and be able to set yourself up, that's fantastic. And there's one more reason why he's good, and we'll talk about it right at the end of the text for the Legendary Fisherman. So, while Umi's on the field, this card is unaffected by spell effects and may not be targeted for attacks. Now, here comes that last line. This does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. So no, it is not a wall. And if Legendary Fisherman is the only thing that you have and you've only got about 100 hit points left, yes, they can, will, and definitely should summon Karibo to slap your life points off you, because you were the big bad silly that decided to play a Legendary Fisherman with low hit points. However, Maria Kutai will actually offer a shield move for you at the same time as threatening a negate. So again, really think about this card. It's actually really cool. Looks great. It should have been in Spooktober. Look at that skull. Amazing. But yeah, we're going to run the Legendary Fisherman at 3 again, just for consistency. So that should be about 10 cards for your main deck monster-wise. which is going to help when we go to activate the Moray of Greed. And this is one of my favorite draw spells just because it actually replaces even itself. So you shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand to the deck and then you draw 3 cards. But that's the 2 cards that you sent back into the deck and the one that has to go to the discard pile for the activation. And again, running so many copies of everything allows you to consistently get to what you need to get to. If you ended up with all 3 Legendary Fishermen, feel free to stack 2 back in there. If you got Mariokutai and you'd much rather get him out in the after effects with the catch of the day, that's fine too. Moray of Greed is going to give you that little bit of flexibility in play, so that's awesome. Again, the field spell needs to be here in order for Legendary Fisherman to really work right. We got the Water Hazard. Now, this is what's going to help us consistently set up our boy, the Legendary Fisherman, because again, the card pool is so small at the moment, and this is pre-Battle City, so this may change after the fact. But Water Hazard's one of these great cards, and I know there were a few of them. I know that I played one of these in the Maekashi build last month. Call of the Mummy, I think it was. And the way they work is once per turn, you can special summon a level 4 or lower, whatever type of monster. In this case, it's a water attribute. In that case, it was a zombie monster last time. From the hand, the condition is you must control no monsters to activate and resolve the effect. What does that mean? Well, if this was the main game and your opponent had a Ojama Duo Trio trap card set, if they put a token monster on your side of the field, they could essentially block the effect of the Water Hazard from being able to go through. Now, what we're concerned with is being able to step up and tribute on the first turn. So this would allow us to, opponent goes, does something, it's our turn, summon High Tide Gyojin off of that, get into our tribute for the Legendary Fisherman, swing, break monster, catch of the day effect, develop Mariokutai in defense mode. And now we're sitting with a monster that can't be attacked and one that's going to block us from getting direct attacked and potentially start blocking spells from our opponents. So fantastic. Again, Adhesion Trap Hole, still really basic. Have the opponent's monsters when they're summoned. And again, Dragon Caller, I think, is right now the only deck that's really summoning 2 monsters at a time. And again, large monsters. And Adhesion Trap Hole is really going to help you keep that down. And then 2 copies Kunai with Chain, because, again, if we go right back to the Legendary Fisherman, he specifically says unaffected by spell effects, but he can be affected by traps. So, with the Kunai with Chain, we can actually increase his power and get him up an additional 500 while being able to stop an opponent from attacking us the way they want to. So again, maybe we weren't able to develop the Marikutai play. We'll still be able to block at least 1 attack with the Kunai with Chain. So that is about it for the Mako deck today, because again, it's speed duels, and these really do take just about half the time. Like I said, grab yourself a stack, just whatever 5 fusions strike your fancy. If you did feel the need to play Waking the Dragon, I'm not sure in my build what I would take out. I did want a higher monster count, closer to 50% of the deck in order to utilize the Morays of Greed more efficiently. But it's just a guideline. I mean, I do think you're allowed to have between 20 and 30 cards in a main deck in this form, so maybe just try adding one. But I like to stick as close to minimums as possible just for better, proper ratios. So I'm going to go ahead, get back to work. I'm going to get you guys another speed duel deck for later this week. I'll see you guys later.